morning, everyone. It's Friday. It's Webinar Friday. I love today. I love who we have as our guest speaker, so to say, as well as it's beautiful out. It's a great day, and it's the beginning of a weekend. So I'm very excited about that. For those who don't know me, my name is Helena. I'm the Executive Director with the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce. We love Webinar Fridays because it provides a lot of information on how to grow your business. And we always do a lot with access to capital, how to get government contracts. But you know what? We also like to talk about motivation and the inspirations, if that's a word, that come with your day-to-day psyche of how to run a business and the obstacles and the things that get thrown at you. And I call it spinning plates. You know what? When one plate is going down, the other one is spinning, and you always have to pivot, and you have to have the right frame of mind. So that's why we have Craig Siegel here, talking about the positive mindset that you need to have to grow your business. And you know what? Craig has been on a couple of times. A few times, I should say, and his previous webinars are televised and are recorded on Chamber TV. However, we have talked about, I'm a big believer in the law of attraction. And Craig and I talk about that a lot. I think this encompasses the way that you think. If you have negative things, you're going to attract negativity. So I'm turning it over to Craig to turn everyone that's on here, open up your hearts. Lots of money is going to come in, lots of great things, happiness and friendships and connections for your business. So that's my intro. Turning it over to Craig. It is being recorded. It will be on Chamber TV. Put your questions or any type of positive energy in the chat. Craig will be monitoring it. I'll be monitoring it. We have a hard stop at 11. So Craig, take it away.
Wow, what an introduction. It's great to be back. I think this might be our fourth time. And I have a feeling we're just getting warmed up. I love you, Helena. I love what you guys do. I love what you represent. And I love the people that you bring together. So we're going to have a lot of fun over the next hour. I'm going to predict that this is a 7-figure call if you apply the tools. Before we get started, I want you guys to know this. This isn't going to be a lecture or a keynote speech.
Hold on, Craig. 1 second. Someone said there's a problem with audio. Yeah, I don't know if it's just that one person or across. You and I have been communicating. I know Alexandra.
I think that was early.
Okay.
Okay,
yeah, we're good. Sorry about the.
All good. All good. Everything is great. Everything's going to come together today exactly as it should. So this is going to be an experience, guys. Happy Friday. We're going to have so much fun. There's going to be a lot of energy on this call. My goal for today is to not just give you information and nuggets, because you can get that anywhere. It's the information age. What I want to do is penetrate your souls and inspire you to have a different perspective and to take massive action in your business and in life. If you're with me so far, let me see you write "I dig" in the chats. We're going to be very interactive today. I want you guys to participate. Ken's digs. Heck yeah. Oh, yes. Bring the energy. Let me feel it. I love you guys already. All right, cool. All right, very good. Okay, this is awesome. I want you guys to keep this up the entire time. And we're going to do a little bit of a giveaway, as we always do. The best takeaway or nugget taken from this call today, and you text it to me, we're going to send you something really special. Last time we sent out a CLS custom journal. This time we're going to do even bigger. So make sure you stay focused and you take the biggest nugget and you text it to us. I'll drop my number here in the chats. Heck yeah. Okay. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about a bunch of things. We'll do some exercises. We're going to have a lot of fun. But the theme of today is how positive thinking can increase your business. I would go a step further. Positive thinking can increase your life. I consider myself to be delusionally optimistic. Wasn't always like this. Give you guys a 2-second background just so you have some context, because I imagine there's some people on today's call that might not be familiar or haven't been on the previous calls. Make a long story short, I spent 13 years on Wall Street. I was making money, which at that season of life, I determined to be successful. Now, granted, making money is important, but it's one component of success. And I found myself in a dark season a few years back, having got out of a toxic relationship. More importantly, my best friend, my dad, had got diagnosed with cancer. And even though I had a good business, I wasn't exactly putting a dent in the universe. And I always knew that I was here for something more than I was currently doing. And before I go any further, let's be very vulnerable and transparent today. Write yes in the chats if you also believe that you're here for a much bigger purpose than what you might be currently doing. Yep. Okay, good. So lockdown happens. Well, first I started running a bunch of marathons. I don't know if I found running or running found me, but it was great. I started to find myself again and get excited, but I was still at my job and I was still kind of miserable. Then the lockdown happens, or the pandemic. I shut down my office. And for the first time in my life, I got quiet and I started to cultivate clarity, because mindfulness is a portal to expansion. And I started to get clear. And I realized if that was it for me, I did this eulogy exercise, and this is really good and tangible for you guys to use as well. If that was it for me and I was done from this human experience and people showed up at my funeral, who would show up? What would they say? Did I leave a legacy? Did I make an impact? Did I contribute? And up until that point, the answer was absolutely not. And so I made myself available for those creative divine downloads. And I made it so real for myself that I actually said, I would rather die than choose to go back after lockdown and be miserable. So I don't know exactly what I want to do next, but I'm available. And just like that, I started getting these downloads. I had been studying personal development for 15 years, documenting it, journaling it, law of attraction, Kabbalah, NLP, historic figures, emotional intelligence. But what if it was more than just a passion? What if it was a purpose? I combined that with my gift to humbly communicate pretty effectively. And the next day in a run, it came to me, my CLS brand, Cultivate Lasting Symphony, or a play of my initials, Craig Landon Siegel. And I had that moment of imposter syndrome. I believe we all have that. In fact, unworthiness is the worst virus today. But then I thought of the COI, the cost of inaction. And I said, I'm going for this. And I put together a whole strategy. I reverse engineered it and I started putting out content. And over the last 2 years, the brand's exploded. We have one of the top self-help entrepreneurial podcasts on the planet, sponsored by Mark Cuban, speaking all over the world, coaching, masterminds, community. We just signed a record, first-time author book deal with Wiley, which comes out August 15th, called The Reinvention Formula, which just went up for pre-sale. And I sold the business on Wall Street, and this is it for me in some capacity for the rest of my life, and we're just getting warmed up. So the big message in all that is this, and I would love for someone to write this in the chats. It doesn't take time. It just takes alignment. And when you get in alignment, you're a vibrational match, as Helena was saying, to all the abundance out there. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. That sounds great, Craig. How do I get into alignment? Well, first and foremost, it starts by cultivating positive thinking, right? Because as the webinar disclosed, all that we achieve and all that we fail to achieve is a direct result of our thoughts. You see, it's very simple. I stayed on Wall Street in a miserable situation for a very long time because I was so invested in this story, or this movie, if you will, that this was it for me. I'd make a certain amount of money. I'd never find true love, and I would just kind of be miserable. When the lockdown happened, I took a second to reassess. And just like all of you agreed on today's call, I knew I was here for something more. And I believed in my heart that you can create a hybrid of making a massive impact, having a lot of fun, and unapologetically making a lot of money. And so I started to change my thoughts. Instead of thinking, what can go wrong? I started thinking, what can go right? And just like that, my physiology changed, right? And I started to think and play a little bit bigger. My map, or my frame of the world, started to become a little bit enriched, okay? Now, I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with NLP, or neuro-linguistic programming. Essentially, it's a technology, but basically what it is the attitude and methodology that allows people to think and communicate more effectively. And some of that includes with yourself, right? So in other words, your understanding, well, I'm going to throw a lot of knowledge at you guys, then we're going to open up for some Q&A, do some exercises, but I want to hit you with a couple nuggets right out the gate. Your understanding of the world is based on how you represent it, your map, not the world itself, right? So in order to understand the world, we map it in our brains. Whatever you think is going on, whether you can achieve things or you can't, it's not necessarily true, right? So in order to see a much more positive world where you have possibilities and opportunities and not limitations, we have to change our perspective. We have to expand our map or enrich it, if you will. It's the same reason why two people can go on the exact same vacation or watch the same exact movie, whatever the case may be, and do the same things and come back with two totally different experiences, right? You have to be available, so to speak. So cultivating a positive attitude is priority number one, right? And there's an old expression, I didn't make it up. Life is 90% what happens to, or 10% what happens to you, excuse me, and 90% your attitude towards it. You know what? I believe that. And I'm living proof because I have contrast. I spent a very long time with a negative outlook and a victim mentality. Like, why me? Or, you know, good stuff never happens for me, so to speak. And I was going around in this hamster wheel. It was like The Matrix, the movie The Matrix, if you will. Then it occurred to me, like I said in the lockdown, that that's a choice. And essentially, it's a movie. And I can actually choose a different story, choose a different movie. If I didn't like where I was at, or if any of you don't love where you're at right now, spoiler alert, you can change the next scene. You can have a plot twist. You can change the cast of characters. You could change the theme of the movie. You could technically change your geographic location if you see fit. And then you can buy into that new movie, that new story that's optimistic, exciting, exhilarating, has limitless potential. And this might sound uncomfortable at first because we've been programmed for so long to buy into negativity and the news and society. Sometimes our families, even out of love, have placed these limitations on us. Once we understand and become aware and explode our consciousness that we have a choice, now we can energetically shift and change our entire perspective of the world. Okay? So that's why mindset is everything. And you guys have all had those days where you wake up, you're on fire, you can't be stopped. If you're in sales, no one can say no to you. If you're single, you go approach that beautiful stranger at the bar, whatever the case may be. Good things are happening, right? You have a positive attitude. You're magnetic. And then there's those other days where you stub your toe out of bed and you're late for work and you're hitting all the red lights and the delivery guy delivers your food wrong and you can't seem to break that frequency or pattern, right? The first step to choosing or dictating how your day is going to go is by choosing a new thought, a positive thought, an empowering thought, one that shows you are worthy, one that says you can do whatever you desire, one that does not see limitations. Okay? So if you have a negative, disempowering thought in your head right now that's occupying real estate, that thought is now creating negative beliefs. I can't make 7 or 8 figures. I can't find love of my life. I'll never be able to start my own business. All these things. It's a belief that you bought into based upon the negative thoughts. Now, if we were to say, you know what, this crazy guy, Craig Siegel, in his handsome button down, came to me on Friday and suggested that I start replacing all those negative thoughts with positive ones. Let me just try it out. So here's my challenge for you guys, okay? For the next 24 hours, meaning till Saturday at, let's just call it 11 a.m. by the time this call is over, Saturday morning, I want you guys to commit, okay? Do this one favor for me. I don't ask for much. For the next 24 hours, I want you to be delusionally optimistic and positive about literally everything. If someone calls you, typically that you're not in the mood to take a phone call from, look at the caller ID, and instead of being negged out or like, oh, what do they want? Or resentful, just be like, oh, they must have something great to say. If somebody cuts you off in traffic, instead of giving them the you know what, maybe say, you know what, they must have had somewhere really important to be. Just be optimistic and positive about literally everything. And then tomorrow at 11 a.m., you have my blessing, if you want to go back to being realistic. My prediction is that after the 24 hours is up, and let's just say you go back to being realistic, you'll notice that what you consider to be realistic for the last couple of years was probably more on the pessimistic side. And I can't wait to see, if you buy into this, what opens up from you from a new, fresh mind of positivity and delusional optimism. And I just want to be clear. There's a thing these days called toxic positivity. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying be delusionally optimistic. Just assume that things are working out in your favor. Good things are coming to you. You're exactly where you need to be at the right time to be available for all the abundance that awaits you. If you're game to try this 24-hour positivity challenge, right, I'm game in the chats. Could you guys be on any more fire? Yes, yes. Jennifer. Yes, love it. Michelle, heck yes. Okay, good. Just quickly, are any of you guys on social media? Do you guys like, I think the last time I was in here, we talked a lot about personal branding, which I believe is huge. We're not going to talk about that so much today, but you should be interested in personal branding because it'll really catapult your business and your life. Cool. A lot of you guys are. Okay. Here's one thing that I can give back. We have a really big following on social media, specifically Instagram. If you guys want, take a picture or a screenshot of this call and then story it and tag me, and I will restory every single one. And then my whole audience will now see you. And typically when that happens, something good comes out of it. Someone will approach you for business or something. So take a screenshot, story it, say that you were on this call and tag me, and I'll restory every single one. Heck yes, Keith. Christopher, I love it. Okay. We're on fire right now. Everybody's game. This is great. You guys are available. Okay. All right. Let's keep at it. And McKen's from the team dropped our social handle. It's the same thing on all the channels, Craig Siegel _CLS. Okay. So guys, in addition to thinking positive, I think it's important for me to also superset that, if you will, with thinking big, right? Because you can't really think big and be negative. So for me, one of my superpowers is I think really, really big. For example, our podcast has over 5 million downloads. All the biggest celebrities on the planet have been on it, entrepreneurs, Hollywood actors, athletes, and so forth. But we started with nothing. I had no following, nothing. But I set the tone. That's what I thought. So I was able to facilitate the law of attraction, because once you have an idea, and this is a great nugget, once you have an idea, something becomes a possibility. Now, once you take one inspired step forward to that idea, now the possibility becomes a probability. That's how the law of attraction works. So thinking big is huge, and I believe it goes hand in hand with thinking positive. And let me explain. If you think really big and believe in yourself, you will achieve massive success, right? So you can't think small and get great positive results, because that's not incongruency, right? But if you start to challenge yourself to challenge your limitations, in other words, when you guys want to do something or expand your business or put yourself out there or become an entrepreneur or start a personal brand, whatever, right? And then the voice comes in, oh, I can't do that. I have no following, or who's going to want to listen to me or any of that stuff. I challenge you the next time that happens to challenge those limitations. Why? And this is it. This is a big takeaway, guys. Somebody please write this one down. Thoughts are not facts. Thoughts are not facts. Most of the thoughts that we get over the course of the day are negative. That's just backed by science. So now that we're aware of that, we can go do something about it. So I like to think of myself as I'm in a game, right? And if you guys are big in faith or stuff like that, some people call it the opponent. Some people call it the devil. Some people call it ego. Pick your poison. But there's something that always tries to keep you playing small, living in scarcity, right? And from interviewing some of the world's most successful people on the planet, one thing that I see that they all have in common is they have systems in place to block out that interference, right? So the next time you want to do something, let's just say you leave this call today, you're feeling fired up, you're on fire, you took a screenshot, you posted it to Instagram, you tagged me, you got some juicy nuggets, you joined the texting community. Ken, you could drop the number in there, totally free. You're feeling good. And then all of a sudden, it's 1 o'clock and that voice comes in and goes, you're not actually going to take inspired action. You're not actually going to start thinking bigger, right? And then bang, wait a minute. That's not really a fact. That's my opponent or my ego trying to keep me playing small. I see you, I hear you, but I'm not available for you. What I'm available for is what can go right. Okay? How can this work out? Right? So for example, let's just say you wanted to buy yourself something really nice, right? Like my birthday is in 6 days, next Thursday. Let's just say I wanted to treat myself. I don't often treat myself, but let's just say I did. I'm just giving an example. Let's say you went to the Rolex store, right? Or you wanted to buy a car or a vacation, whatever the case may be. A lot of people won't even want to go into the store because they immediately tell themselves, I can't afford that, or that's not for me. But what if you change the paradigm? And instead of saying, I can't afford that, what if you said to yourself, how can I afford that? How can I afford that? Now, instead of being mean to yourself and negative and disempowering, now all of a sudden you're choosing a different thought. How can I afford that? And then your mind begins to open up like a parachute. And now you start thinking about ways that you could start a side hustle. You could start a side project. You could reach out to more clients. You could delegate. You can ask for promotion. You could do all these things to get to that audacious goal, whatever the case may be. Just to be clear, I don't think things make you happy. It's the person you become on the journey, but I'm just giving an example. Let's say you wanted to treat yourself. So instead of I can't, how can I? And now you're changing your DNA. And look, this is going to take practice. It's going to take conditioning, right? Because we've been wired to be a certain way for so long. So we have to unwire and then rewire. But just positive affirmations like, how can I afford that? Now, all of a sudden, you start becoming solution-oriented, a problem solver, stuff like that, right? So guys, thoughts are not facts. The only difference between anyone that's succeeding to a great degree and maybe some of us that aren't just yet is because the person that is believes that they can. And when you begin to believe that you can, you're no longer available for the disempowering negativity because you have systems in place to block out that interference. Because here's the kicker. We don't create abundance. We create limitations. I know Helena is going to love this one. We're born to be abundant, to accomplish it all. Love, success, fulfillment, meaning, purpose. But throughout life, we get beaten down a little bit. And then we think that we have to create the abundance. All the abundance is already out there. There's enough for all of us to win tenfold. Trust me. It's already there. We just have to call it in. All the money, all the things that you think you want. The market exists. You just have to call it in and be available for it. Right? So let's stop creating limitations. Let's be open and available, open heart, believing that we can, challenging our limitations, understanding that thoughts are not facts, all the above. If you're with me so far, drop I dig in the chats. Did you guys be on any more fire? True question. All right, good. I hope I'm penetrating some souls. I see a bunch of you guys restory the screenshot and tag me. I will restore every single one. And we're going to do a giveaway for the best nugget after this. I can't wait. This is great energy, guys. You really brought it. And see, that's the thing, is you participate. And that's how you receive the most success. All right. So I want to do a little exercise with you guys because I think it'll be very valuable. I think it'll be really valuable. Okay. I want you to imagine that you're in this cage. Okay. And close your eyes, meditate, whatever's good for you. Imagine that you're in this cage, and outside this cage is the most dangerous and scary looking tiger that you have ever seen. Ever. Petrifying. Teeth, growling, saliva, all the things. Out of nowhere, you realize that this cage has always been unlocked. And then it occurs to you, this tiger never once tried to attack you. Not once. So you notice this door and you walk out, and then bang, this tiger launches himself at you. I mean, he has his paw on your chest. You are so scared and petrified right now. You think this might be it for you. He's right on your chest, his claw like this, growling, this tiger. Then you realize that this tiger isn't attacking. This tiger represents fear. And you represent courage. So you get up and you walk side by side with this tiger, fear and courage. And you put your hand on his back and you realize this: you will never be able to totally dominate fear. It's there to protect you in some instances and hold you back in others. Fear is never going to go away. The more we ascend, like new levels, new devils. So here's the kicker. You meet fear with courage. Fear and moments of pain are just temporary, especially emotional pain. Thinking, oh, should I start a business, or should I go for it? Should I ask this client for an order? Should I put myself out there? Should I hire an employee? Once you calm down and you take a second to digest this, you realize no matter how successful you get or how confident you get, fear will always be there to some capacity. Maybe it's the ego like we talked about. Maybe it's the devil. Maybe it's the opponent. We acknowledge it, but we cultivate courage and we meet that fear with the courage. and we lean into the uncomfortable action anyway. Why? Because on the other side of the uncomfortable action is where all the real growth happens. You dig? All right, guys. So for any of you that have been playing a little bit small, or you're scared of success or scared of failure or anything in between, we meet those limiting beliefs with courage and we press forward anyway. And trust me when I tell you, the more you do this, the more things begin to open up for you. Doors begin to open. Divine connections. Somebody in the elevator says the right thing to you at the right time. Out of nowhere, you're in the deli, you hear a song and it hits you with a nugget and you start a business. Right? So we have to lean into this. And the way to do that is to cultivate courage and to be brave. Is it scary to totally pivot from Wall Street and start something with no audience, no connections, nothing? Yeah, it was scary. But I was able to cultivate just 20 seconds of courage. And in that 20 seconds, I challenged my limitations. Instead of thinking about what can go wrong, I thought what can go right. And then I thought of a brand name. Then I got a logo. Then I started putting out content. Then I gained some momentum. Then I started a podcast. Then I used that as a vessel to connect with really inspiring human beings. Then Wiley came to us and pitched us the biggest book deal for first-time author. All the things happened after I met fear with courage. I just love to know if that story hit home for anyone in the chats. Just write yes. If not, that's okay too. But I think courage is so beautiful and so special because it's something that we can all possess and cultivate as long as we meet fear with the courage. And that's the power of being positive. Hell yeah, Michelle. Yes. CJ, you guys are on absolute fire right now. Can't even believe it. Yes. All right, good. So for the rest of today, and we're not done yet, we just get warmed up. Heck yeah, Marine. Yes. Rubian. I hope I'm saying your name right. So guys, for the rest of the day, think bigger, play bigger, and not if, but when the negativity comes, or the imposter syndrome, or the ego, or the opponent, I want you to meet it with courage and say, not today. Someone write that in the chat. Not today. And you push past it and you do what you wanted to do anyway. And you keep on going. And then, trust me, everything begins to open up. You've all heard the expression, I know Helena has, is when you're really in alignment, you don't have to worry about the how, right? Like, even for any of you that want to start a business or a passion project, but you're not sure how to monetize it or whatever the case may be, you don't have to worry about the how just yet. Why? 3 words. Clarity follows action. You take the action, you meet fear with courage, and then things begin to open up. Ideas, opportunities, relationships. Even today, right? You take a screenshot, you post it, I restory it. Now my whole audience on Instagram sees you, someone reaches out to you, says, hey, I see that you do this. Could you help me? Or do you know anyone that can? That's how it works. But you got to be available. You got to get in the arena. I'm loving this right now. I got to tell you, every time I come here, love you guys so much. Loving the chats. Drop some nuggets from today in the chats too. I'd love to see some of your biggest takeaways so far. Clarity follows action. Not today. Heck yes. Replace I can't with how can I? Great one. Okay, guys. Okay, let's keep it rocking. All right. I want to give you guys a tangible tool that you can extract from today that you can apply immediately to your life and start taking massive action. Ingrid, love that. You guys are playing a great crew today. Unbelievable. So I want to give you guys an exercise real quick that I think will be very valuable for you. Okay. And I'm going to challenge someone to have the courage to write in the chats what I'm about to ask you. You see, in life, you don't get what you want. You get what you're committed to. A lot of people want the success that I have right now. Like a lot of people come to me if I can coach them and mentor them because it looks very sexy and, and I appreciate that. But then I say to them, but do you want to do what I did? Right? In the beginning of pandemic, well, a lot of people watching Netflix and day drinking, I was working 20 hours a day to get this thing up and going. Now, just to be clear, it's not work to me because I love it. You couldn't pay me to be anywhere else. But I believe there's an irreplaceable season of grind in the beginning of creating something special, right? So I'm going to go back to what I said. In life, you don't get what you want, you get what you're committed to. So I want you to write this, okay? I want you guys to think of this and then take a second and write something in the chat so that I personally can hold you accountable. I'm committed to blank. No matter what, there is no other option. If you guys can, I would write that down in front of you or on your computer or wherever, just so you have this after the exercise, after the call. I'm committed to blank. No matter what, there is no other option. So that might be losing 20 pounds. That might be getting to 7 or 8 figures in my business. That might mean becoming the best version of myself to be available for a partner. It might mean a materialistic goal to getting a Rolex, whatever the case may be, anything. I'm committed to blank. No matter what, there is no other option. Okay, so let's see. Millennia. Committed to growing my business to making $1 million net annually. No matter what. I love it. There is no other option. Okay. Anyone else want to take a stab at it? I acknowledge that it takes courage to write it in there, but that's what we're all about today. Positivity and courage, baby. Committed to available for all the abundance that comes my way. Let's get specific here. Intentionality is key. Could be something as simple as lose 20 pounds so I can fit into my daughter's wedding, my wedding dress. I'm committed to publishing my first book in 2023. Now we're getting specific. Maureen, I'm committed to positivity no matter other streams of inaccuracy. Acties, yes. That's awesome, Bruce. CJ, I'm committed to growing and sustaining my business no matter what. You guys feel that? Yes, that's powerful. I think affirmations are undervalued, okay? Now, here's the thing. By affirming what you're committed to, we'll do one more. I'm committed to growing my newly formed company, then creating my nonprofit Work Grow. James, love it. I'm committed to launching an NFT collection for the Latino community. Love it. You guys are powerful today. Great crew, Helena. Okay. So by affirming what you're committed to, you're keeping it top of mind. And you're recommitting to this every single day. So a bunch of you wrote it in the chats. I want you guys to also make sure you have it in front of you when this Zoom call ends. Okay. So like for me, I'm committed to putting out the best book I could possibly facilitate based upon everything that I've learned and known for the first 37 years of my life. The Reinvention Formula, which is now available for pre-order on Amazon. Kenzie, you can put the link in the chat. I can't control other things, but I control how how much heart and soul I put into that. It's what I'm committed to. Yes, Ingrid. Okay. I'm committed to bidding on 10 commercial projects no matter what. There's no other option. Committed to winning. Yes, Katie. Okay. So by affirming what we're committed to, we're keeping this top of mind and we're recommitting every single day. Now, here's step 2. And this is just as important. Why is this a must for you? Take a minute. Write down some bullet points. Why is it so important for me to come up with the best book I possibly can called The Reinvention Formula? Because I know what it feels like to feel stuck, to be miserable, to be anxious, to be out of alignment. And I also have contrast to know what it feels like to be in alignment and to love life. And I just got engaged and I'm excited and I'm so many blessings. And I want to help everyone else remove some of the dummy taxes that I paid by giving them tools and strategy techniques that they can elevate their life. How about some of you? Why are these a must for you? To move ahead, to not be in a swamp. I love the transparency, Bruce. Love the vulnerability. Okay. Who else? So many of you wrote down what you're committed to. I want to see some of you tell me why it's a must. Very important. That's how this is going to work. And then we have a third step. Let's go, guys. Only way to take biz to the next level of actual monetary growth. Love it. This is a must because I need to have a personal income, 500,000. I need to give my children a better life than I had. I need to feel accomplished. Love it. Melnia, how do I pronounce your name? Hope I'm doing it justice. But that's beautiful and I love it. Love it. Anyone else feeling frisky? Feeling a little courageous? And then we're going to wrap up and land the plane with step 3. Don't be shy. To impress my intellectual ivory tower millennial kids as a published author. That's beautiful. And I imagine you're going to be a symbol to them, Marine, of somebody who's going for it, that can chase their dreams, that could be bold and be courageous. And by you being a published author, that inspires them. That's really beautiful. CJ, because I want to leave a meaningful and lasting legacy that will have a positive impact on today's and future generation. Beautifully said. Love it. Okay. All right, we're going to land the plane. You guys ready for me? Who's ready for step number 3 and the final step? Right, I'm ready in the chats. Okay. Ingrid's so ready. Okay, step 3. Write down specific action steps and when you're going to take them. This just got real. Write down some specific action steps and when you're going to take them. Take a minute for that. Love this so much. You guys are on absolute fire. All right, who wants to write an action step? Let's call Marine, CJ, Chris, Melnia, Ingrid, Bruce, Katie. Let's see an action step. Add a service, and I have and put it on my website, Cam, today. Bang! Who wants to hold Bruce accountable out of love? Specific action steps and when. Increase clients each month, expand the marketing scope each 3 months. Bang. This is awesome. This is real deal accountability here. Health, weight loss. I'm going to continue to eat healthy and exercise at least 3 times a week. Love it, Katie. Chris, by focusing on my goals and setting action plans immediately. I love this. Be happy to help you with that. This is awesome. All right, guys, by focusing on my goals and setting up. So why is this so important? We started the call off today with talking about being positive, delusionally optimistic, replacing negative beliefs, meeting fear with courage, and all the great stuff that you need to be an assassin in life and accomplished and successful and a high achiever and part of the 1%, all the things. But that's not enough, right? Because I wouldn't be giving you guys everything if we didn't talk about, okay, now that we're mentally ready, now what are some tangible strategic moves that we can take? And here we go. Look at you guys opening up your minds right now and being available. 24 hours of optimism, thinking about what can go right. This is awesome. I want to acknowledge all of you guys on today's call. Move from book outline to content next week, Maureen. Attend pre-bid meetings as they become available. 1-2 weeks, attend networking bid events. Ingrid, yes. Okay. I imagine those of you guys on the call are feeling fired up, ready to go to war with all the weapons at your disposal. Positive mindset, a 24-hour optimism challenge, being courageous, being bold, and now you have strategies. This is how I'm going to do it. Why is it important to me? This is when I can expect to do it. You guys should be ready to run through a brick wall right now in a positive way. I love it so much. This is awesome. I'm so proud of you guys. I want you guys to text me your best takeaway from this to that number. We also do daily inspirational texts. It's totally free. And we're going to give you guys something really special. Custom journal and a signed book. I'm loving the energy today, and I want to acknowledge you guys. You guys are available. And it seems to me that there's been a quantum shift on this call from the way that you're operating now and thinking. And you've changed your map and frame. And however you were at the beginning of the call, you're now looking at things a little bit more optimistically, a little bit more attainable, removing limitations and replacing them with opportunities and possibilities. If you guys are feeling a little bit more elevated now with a positive mindset, in addition to tangible strategies to start executing, let me see you write yes in the chats. You guys are on fire. Maureen might be the MVP, but don't sleep on CJ or Ingrid. Katie, this is awesome. I love you guys so much. Take that screenshot and tag me so I can support you guys back, and my audience will see what you got going on. I wanted to open it up, and I think Helena did as well, for maybe the last 10 minutes of some Q&A and some any questions. This way you guys can get access to me directly. So Helena, if you want to take it away or call on someone, whatever is good for you. Or we could just have someone ask a question in the chat, whatever you think is best. Bruce. It's awesome. Okay. If any of you guys want to ask a question directly, feel free to drop it in the chat. I would ask anything that's on your mind at all, anything that I could possibly support or help with, or even just a perspective or an opinion or a strategy. Take advantage of this opportunity, guys. Let's not be shy. Hit me with a question. How do I spread the positive message to others around me? By example, by words, by getting them your book? Maureen, I would say all the above. It's a great question. You know, here's the thing. Energy is contagious, right? So by you showing up as the most authentic, real, raw, positive person that you can be, you're setting off a vibration. It's a vibrational universe. So naturally, people are going to gravitate towards you and be elevated by your state, just like I hope you guys were elevated by my state here today. Now, there's always going to be those certain people that are just have a negative outlook, very pessimistic. You can't save everybody. All you can do is lead by example, have that mentality that the camera is always on, always be authentic, show up positive, look at the glass half full, and be solution oriented. And yes, obviously getting them some content, whether you guys download the podcast, Sales Experience, totally free. It's awesome. Dropped a new episode today. The book would be great too. All the things that you can help them with, give them some things to listen to. But ultimately just show up positive, magnetic, energetic, and excited. And that will be contagious. And you can live with that. How do you deal with disappointment? Wow, what a great question. I wrote about a whole chapter in the upcoming book that's called How to Deal with Disappointment and Heartbreak. Because spoiler alert, guys, when you take really big shots at life, you got to be prepared to take some big misses. But also, heartbreak and disappointment is a part of life, right? Sometimes we lose a loved one. Sometimes we get fired, whatever the case may be. A relationship ends. What I try to do is this. I have this mentality that life happens for me, not to me. So for example, and I wasn't always like that, but I've cultivated over the last couple of years. 2 years ago, I was about to run the Chicago Marathon and I got injured, and it turns out it was misdiagnosed and there was a tumor in my foot. And it didn't feel very good mentally, physically either. But I said to myself, I don't know why right now, but this is disappointing. But I know that I'm going to look back and somehow be able to connect the dots and realize that this happened for me, not to me. Sure enough, got the surgery, got the stitches taken out. It came back benign. And because I wasn't able to run, I really started doubling down on this quantum law of attraction stuff, understanding vibrations and energies. And I haven't left the quantum since. It accelerated my growth in all areas of life. Got engaged, the business just soared, all of that. And the reason I was able to do that is because I wasn't able to run, so I had a little bit extra time. I ended up healing and then running the New York City Marathon a month later, actually 2 weeks later, and running the best I ever did. But the old Craig would have been destroyed by that news that there was a tumor in my foot while I'm training for a marathon. I would have been victim mode, victim mentality. But now I adopt the mentality that even though I may not know it now, somehow whatever's happening is going to protect, propel, and promote me to something much greater. And if you adopt and commit to that mindset, nothing can ever really cripple you, because you know, even if it feels disappointing now, it's a part of the process to catapult me to where I want to go. And also, if something happened in the past that you can't seem to let go, remember, you can't change the past, but you can change your relationship with it. You can change how you view what happened. Okay? So disappointment and heartbreaks are part of life, but your attitude and your methodology and understanding that somehow, some way, even though this might not feel good right now, this is protecting and propelling me to something much greater. For example, the lockdown, I shut down my business. It gave me time to be available to start this, which is why I'm here in this world. So just adopt that mentality. Great question. Thank you, Craig. I needed these positivity action steps today. Too easy to lose motivation, feel uninspired in the day. I'm ready to do the work. Awesome. Ingrid, join the texting community because it's totally free and you'll get inspirational nuggets throughout the week. CJ, I've learned in life, everything, whether good or bad, happens for a reason. That's right. That's the right attitude, brother. Love it. Yeah. Heck yes. You guys are on absolute fire. I would be very diligent with the strategy that we did towards the end in regards to, in life, you don't get what you want, you get what you're committed to. So step number one, I'm committed to blank, no matter what, there's no other option. And then keeping that top of mind. Step 2, why is this a must for you? Write down some bullet points. And then number 3, write down some action steps and when you're going to take them. All right, guys? Yeah, you guys are on fire. Okay. Some of the things that I love that we talked about today, just to recap: meeting fear with courage. Fear will never go away. We just get stronger. Doesn't necessarily get easier. We get more battle tested and we have systems in place. The 24-hour delusionally optimistic positive challenge. No matter what happens to you, you're positive for the next 24 hours. Then after that, you have permission to start being realistic again. My prediction is you'll stay in that optimistic frequency and never want to leave it. The tiger story, the commitments. Instead of thinking about what can go wrong, paradigm shift. What can go right? All right, guys. And also, so we come on here a lot. We have a great relationship with Helena. We love her very much. We've done a lot of these so far, and each one, I know the feedback is awesome. Just curious, what is a topic, and I'm sure Helena would love the feedback too. What is a topic that you guys would like me to dive in maybe next time? Is there something specific that you guys would want support with or would like to hear about? Anything at all? I know personal branding is a sexy one these days. There she is. What are you smiling at?
Amazing.
You did good?
You did good. I was wondering if you were answering the one other thing that I've learned in life, everything.
Yeah.
Did you see the last chat?
By CJ?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I didn't want to interrupt you. That's why.
No, I just want to, they're so engaging today. So awesome. A great group that you have here, Helena.
I know. And you know what I loved is how you said that no matter what, and I think this applies to everyone, and I try to think about it like, what's so great about life is you can always do a restart. Like you were talking about that at the beginning, like you can change your thoughts. You can, you have the ability, meaning me, but I got to learn how to do it, to change it. No one else can change it for me except me.
That's right. Yeah.
So, Rubian has the hand up, but I think you already did that because she was on the other one. Okay, perfect.
Maureen was suggesting a topic for the next time we collaborate. That's an interesting one. Maintaining authenticity in a world that's moving towards AI and ChatGPT. Maybe we'll save that. But
yeah, that is a good one. I think
feedback is great.
Yeah. So you know what, Craig, of course, thank you so much. Alex, thank you always for working with me. And if you guys have any inspirational thoughts, reach out to Craig on that. You can always reach out to me and I'll forward it to him, but you have his direct information. Craig, we so appreciate your time and your energy. And it's really important just to have an positive energy check once in a while, because we go through our day and you know what, and you just bring the things that we need to sit there and say, hey, slow down, take a deep breath, and get in contact with yourself, and that will pivot it into everything that you do. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Love you so much. Love you guys. Love doing life with you guys. And you guys feel free to reach out if I could support in any way.
Definitely. And everyone have a great weekend. Talk to you later. Be safe, be well. Join us on Tuesday, online networking. Talk to you later, everyone.
Bye, guys.